Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Beastly Eel. And in today's video, we are doing a DC review on none other than Terry McGinnis. Now, for those of you who don't know, Terry McGinnis is the second Batman, aka the successor of Bruce Wayne. He protects Neuro Gotham in a cyberpunk future, and he is known as Batman Beyond. So Terry was the product of genetic engineering by Project Cadmus. Director Amanda Waller, who had saw that her once adversary and now ally, Batman, would need a replacement, and that he would need, and the world needs a Batman to continue the fight for justice. By using her old Cadmus connections, Amanda began Project Batman Beyond by taking Bruce Wayne's DNA from blood samples left behind during his cases and created from it a nanotech solution that was able to rewrite a human male's reproductive material into an exact copy of Bruce Wayne's. Amanda looked for a suitable couple, in Gotham City, with a psychological profile that was nearly identical to Bruce's parents, and found McGinnis's as a target subject. Warren McGinnis thought he was getting the flu shot at a hospital, when in reality he was secretly given the injection with the nanotech solution so that his offspring would actually be that of Bruce's in a biological sense. A year later, Mary McGinnis gave birth to Terry, who possessed half of his mother's genetic material and half of Bruce's. With the genetic element completed, Amanda thought about making Terry's decision to become Batman complete by having the same thing done to Terry's parents as it was done to Bruce's. After Terry and his parents left the theater on an evening watching the Gray Ghost strikes, Amanda had Phantasm go after Terry's parents and kill them, thus sparking the same type of trauma that inspired Bruce Wayne to become Batman. However, Phantasm tried to accomplish this task. She ended up refusing to go along with the plan and allowed the McGinnises to continue on, unaware of what might have happened. Amanda argued with her hired assassin about her failure, but she ended up realizing that Phantasm, Phantasm was right, that though the Batman was obsessive in nature, that he would do anything to achieve his goals, he had never resorted to murder. And Amanda ended up honoring all that the original Batman stood for and allowed Phantasma to simply walk away. In his early life, Terry was once considered a bad kid. Excuse me, in his own words, a member of a street gang run by the youthful racketeer Charlie Big Time Bigelow. He had his fair share of run-ins with GCPD while in his early teens, even serving a 3-month stint in juvenile hall. Years after Batman had last been seen, he found himself on the run from another street gang known as the Jokers with a Z, who had modeled themselves after the deceased clown prince of crime. Terry had fled onto the grounds of Wayne Manor, where an aged Bruce Wayne assisted in defeating the Jokers. The strain on the fight placed substantial stress on Bruce's heart, and he collapsed. Terry helped Bruce into the mansion, and in the process stumbled upon the entrance to the Batcave. Bruce kicked Terry out, and when the boy showed up later, saying that his father, Warren McGinnis, had been murdered by that of Derek Powers, who had assumed leadership of the merged Wayne Powers was responsible, he softened his demeanor, and despite Terry's insistence, Bruce, still shaken from the ordeal of having relying on a gun for self-defense, maintained that he had given up the coward. As soon as Bruce's back was turned, Terry took matters into his own hands and stole the latest incarnation of the Batsuit. Bruce basically berated him on the suit's communicator, but Terry was adamant of confronting Powers. Powers had ordered Warren McGinnis's death after the latter discovered Powers' plan to mass produce biological weapons. The high-tech batsuit turned Terry into a powerhouse. He disrupted Powers' covert operation, laying a beating on the security personnel, only to have Bruce shut the batsuit down midway at the touch of a button. Terry pleaded with Bruce for a chance to prove himself and persuaded Bruce to reactivate the Batsuit and let him carry on as Batman for a time being. Bruce's decision resulted in the moratorium, I don't know what that word is, of Powers' operation at the end. Powers was able to expose his own hazardous chemicals, has been exposed to his own hazardous chemicals and experienced the onset of a mutation into blight. Convinced that there was still a need for Batman, Bruce hired Terry as his personal assistant and began secretly training the teenager for his new role as the Batman. McGinnis and Wayne had continued to develop a working relationship where Wayne was tutoring and advising McGinnis as the Batman from his reactivated Batcave, and it was Wayne who largely still doing the mental detective work, while McGinnis did most of the actual battles in an enhanced armored suit. Wayne at times would become incapacitated due to advanced age and prevented from directly helping Terry for other reasons. This would lead McGinnis to depend on his long-time technologically savvy friend, Maxine Gibson, as his detective partner. Max, who would puzzle out McGinnis being Batman. I apologize, lost my place. Max, who had puzzled out that McGinnis being the new Batman and Wayne as the former Batman, would join McGinnis as his active partner. Max was originally thrilled by her discovery and even for a time fancied herself to become the next active crime fighting member of the reconstituted Batman family. However, both the elder Wayne and Police Commissioner Barbara Gordon largely tried to prevent that, knowing fully the dangers of the active costumed crime fighting. But it was not until Max directly experienced firsthand the dangers that McGinnis was willing to endure as the new Batman, where she was almost killed by the silenced assassin Curia, did Max curb her childish enthusiasm about running around in a costume as a costume crime fighter. However, this made Max merely more cautious and more determined to not let her friend go out alone as Batman, as shown in later episodes, and it was revealed if Max had ever become the next Batgirl or an activated costume sidekick to McGinnis, though it was suggested that she did. When Joker had made his mysterious reappearance in Gotham City, Bruce wanted Terry to give back the Batman costume, fearing the young man's life as he did his former partner, Tim Drake, who was kidnapped by the Joker and was forced into a makeover into Joker's adopted son, known as JJ. However, Terry discovered that the Joker had implanted a microchip in Tim Drake that caused him to physically transform into his own older self as Drake and an exact copy of the Joker. During a fight between himself and Batman, the new Joker, I'm sorry, between himself as Batman and the new Joker, Terry used the Joker's electrical joy buzzer to destroy the implanted microchip, thus restoring Drake to normal. Drake saw in McGinnis a person that Bruce Wayne had found worthy to bear the mantle of Batman. Now, while Mary and McGinnis were at the mall, a metahuman named Carson Jates crashed into the building and took it hostage. Fearing the safety of his family, Batman confronted the Justice League Unlimited, forbidding them from interfering. A fight ensued, and while Batman was able to keep them at bay, he quickly realized he was wasting time. He surrendered and proposed a team up. At Bruce's suggestion, they bypassed the polytitanium surrounding the mall by going through a decommissioned elevated train station underneath. Unfortunately, they had found that Jats, now going by Mattermaster, had encased his hostages in copper. Leaving the fight into the League, Batman snuck away and moved the hostages out of the line of fire. During the fight, Carson lost control of his powers and began having a meltdown. Terry had the League amp Matter Master up, then having Green Lantern contain the blast, thus resulting in Carson transmuting himself into copper, seemingly killing himself. After making sure his family was okay, the League came up to him and once again asked him to join them. Terry accepted the invitation, but with some conditions. Now, after high school, Batman responded to a distress call from Vigilante, and it helped him fend off Phantasm. Confused about why she targeted him, Vigilante revealed himself as Jack Chill, the true murderer of Warren McGinnis. Enraged by this and infected by Phantasm's fear toxin, Batman started beating Chill. Bruce, shocked, Terry, allowing Vigilante time to escape. Terry found it suspicious that Bruce not only did not know Vigilante's true identity, but wasn't keeping track of a relative of Joe Chill. As he didn't trust Bruce at the moment, he went on to the person who he had the most recent contact with Phantasm, which was Dick Grayson. After receiving the necessary antitoxins, he decided to ask what happened between him and Bruce. Terry tracked down Vigilante to the Gotham City Public Library, finding him infected with the Joker venom. Batman was able to get away from the Jokers and even Phantasm, but he succumbed to the toxin. After graduating Hamilton Hill High School, Terry went on to attend Gotham University. Unfortunately, he buried himself in superhero duties, neglecting not only his academic studies but his relationships as well. He regretted deciding to break up with Dana and stopped working for Bruce, with Dick Grayson becoming his new mentor. Terry would eventually set things right, reconciling with Bruce and Dana, and at the age of 31, Terry discovered that he was genetically Bruce's son. He initially believed Bruce to have manipulated it once again. His investigation led him to Amanda Waller's doorstep, where she revealed that his genetic origins were of her doing, but that the rest of his life he will it'll be up to him on what he does. With this new outlook on life, Terry decided to propose to Dana instead. He's an acrobatic, so we're going to talk about some powers and abilities, mostly just abilities. He's an acrobatic. He is great with combat. He is an expert in driving, gymnastics, hand-to-hand combat. He has an indomitable will. He's great at lockpicking, stealth, surveillance, tactical analysis, leadership, weaponry, along with gadgetry and throwing of the gadgets. With his bat suit is a state-of-the-art suit, which features new gadgets such as the glider wings, thrusts on his boots, and even a cloaking device. It increases his strength to be able to allow him to lift up to 1,700 pounds. Um, he has minimal disruption in his flexibility. His forearm spikes extend out. He has enhanced visual assistance, allowing him to see in the dark. Personal communicator allows him to uh, consult with Bruce at the Batcave. Superhuman durability, built-in rebreather for underwater combat and exploration. He has the ability to dispense batarangs. A disc can be fired at the top of his wrist. An electroblast. He has the ability to wrist-mounted lasers capable of melting and stunning his opponents. He has flight, as we had talked about, invisibility, claws, an uplink to the Batmobile for remote piloting. He obviously has the Batmobile and batarangs. So one of the big things here is the reason why I wanted to do Terry McGinnis was because he's now going to be having a comic book series with Static, where they're both in the future and seeing how those two work together in this new superhero world that they've created for that storyline. So I'm very curious to see what happens there, but I'm also very much looking forward to seeing more of Batman Beyond and also Static Shock. So for now, if you like the content you see, please make sure to like and subscribe down below. Other than that, this is going to be Beastly Eel signing out. Have a wonderful night. Bye bye.